All right, let's dive into something pretty powerful today. We're going to explore a framework for living called the 3S identity. Now, this idea comes straight out of the first century, but it's designed to tackle a problem that is absolutely timeless, that constant nagging feeling of worry and, well, of just not having enough. So let's see how it works.
We've all been there, right? That little knot of anxiety in your stomach about having enough to get by. It's a universal human thing. But imagine living in the first century world, where for so many people, the next meal was never, ever a guarantee. That anxiety was dialed up to 11. But what if there was a completely different way to live?
So right in the middle of all that anxiety, Jesus makes this almost unbelievable promise. He basically says, if you just prioritize two things, his kingdom and his righteousness, all that other stuff you're stressing about, it'll be taken care of. But how does that actually work? I mean, is it really that simple?
And this is the key insight. The secret to unlocking this promise isn't about doing something different, it's about becoming someone different. It's all about a fundamental shift in our perspective, which happens when we adopt a new three-part identity.
So what is this new identity? Well, it all kicks off with the very first part, learning to see yourself as a beloved child, or as the source material puts it, a son or a daughter.
This first step requires a huge shift in how we see the world. The source material contrasts it with the mindset of a stray cat, always scrounging, always worrying, always fending for itself. This identity asks you to flip that script and instead embrace the security of a beloved child, trusting that a loving father is actually taking responsibility for your well-being.
And check out how practical this is. It all begins with a relationship, serving God as a father. And out of that relationship, trust starts to grow. And that trust, that's what opens the door for you to receive everything you need. It's a sequence that literally shifts the burden from your shoulders to his.
Okay, so once you've got that foundation of being a child locked in, the second identity just kind of flows from it. You see, as a child matures, they start looking for a purpose. And that brings us to the second S in this framework, the servant.
Now hold on. Servant here doesn't mean what you might think. It's not about servitude in a negative way. It's about becoming a purposeful worker, someone who finds a real, meaningful mission that's aligned with a vision that's bigger than themselves. It's about seeing your work as part of God's kingdom and modeling how you do it on the example of Jesus.
You can see how this all connects, right? You acknowledge a higher purpose, you follow a proven model, and you start engaging in work that has meaning way beyond just a paycheck. And the result? The source says you'll enjoy a sufficient income and the abundance you need for your life. Purpose actually comes before provision.
So we have the security of a son and the purpose of a servant. The final piece of this puzzle is the saint, or as this slide puts it, the righteous steward. This identity isn't so much about what you do, but how you do it.
And again, saint here isn't about having a halo or being perfect. It just means being a righteous person. It's about being a steward who operates with unshakable integrity and justice in their professional life. And this isn't just about being a good person. It's a strategic principle with some very practical outcomes.
And get this source material points to this incredible practical outcome. When you operate with this level of integrity, it actually has a real-world effect. People are drawn to your work, your business grows, and as your income increases, it creates this amazing opportunity to expand your impact by helping those in need. So righteousness in this framework isn't some barrier to success, it's the catalyst for it. Okay, so we've laid out the three identities: son, servant, and saint. That's the what. Now, let's talk about the so what. How do we actually take this and apply it directly to our own lives?
This is where it gets personal. It's time for a little honest self-check. Because before we can move forward, we kind of have to know where we're standing right now. So let's look at a tool that can help with that. This little table is a super simple way to think about it. Just, on a scale of 1 to 5, where would you honestly place yourself for each of these identities? How secure do you feel as a son or daughter? How purposeful as a servant? And how righteous as a saint? The goal isn't instant perfection, but just growing towards that 5 in each area, because that's the path to fully experiencing the abundance that Jesus promised.
And wow, this slide just nails the stakes perfectly. On one side, you've got the beggar prince, someone who actually has a royal inheritance, but is living in anxiety and lack because they just don't know who they really are. And on the other side, the crowned heir, confident, assured, and living in abundance. The only difference between them? The identity they've chosen to live in.
Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, this sounds great, but it feels impossible. And you know what? That's why this quote is so crucial. This isn't about you just mustering up more willpower on your own. It's about partnership. It's about what becomes possible when we do this journey with God. This completely reframes what we think of as an inheritance, doesn't it? It's not a passive gift like money or property. In this framework, your inheritance is a purpose-filled vision for your life. And when you receive that vision and start to pursue it, abundance just becomes the natural outcome. The vision is the inheritance. And at the end of the day, that really is the final question. You were created to be a prince or a princess in God's kingdom. And this 3S identity is the key to recovering that status, to living that confident, assured life. The only question left is, are you ready to claim it?